This episode of Scott Bromley's Internet Rabbit Hole is brought to you by Lumosity. Everything is being remade, and it seems like there aren't any original ideas anymore. And it's been this way since the dawn of man. No, really, since the dawn of man. Time to jump in the Internet Rabbit Hole! So the other day, I was raging online about how the RoboCop remake was ruining the original RoboCop without actually seeing it, because it's the internet. We love jumping to conclusions. And that got me to look up the original RoboCop, Peter Weller, on IMDb, who's in Star Trek Into Darkness, which was kind of a remake of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. But then I went back to the RoboCop IMDb page to look at the director Paul Verhoeven's filmography and was reminded that he directed Total Recall in 1990. Which was remade in 2012. And that got me thinking, how long have people been remaking pop culture? I mean, as far as video games are concerned, remakes are still a relatively new genre, considering gaming has only been around for about 50 years. But not all gaming remakes or movie or television remakes are actually remakes by definition. Basically, we compare remakes into three categories: remakes, reboots, and adaptations. Remakes are categorized as games using the same characters and basic storyline as the original, but making them hip and new, like DuckTales Remastered, Metroid Zero Mission, GoldenEye 007, and Mega Man: The Wily Wars. Reboots would be games that bring new interpretations to old characters and stories, like, I don't know, Bomberman Act Zero. And adaptations are taking something that existed somewhere else prior, like on another system, and bringing the same game to a different system, like the HD remakes of Shadow of Colossus, Ico, Wind Waker, God of War, Sly Cooper, Halo, and the Wii controller-supported versions of Pikmin 1 and 2 and Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. But let's talk about remakes for a second. Specifically, movie remakes. Now, I already talked about RoboCop and Total Recall, but did you know there are tons of movies out there that I bet you love that you had no idea were remakes? Movies like The Money Pit, Meet the Parents, You've Got Mail, The Thing, The Wizard of Oz, Born Identity, True Lies, Fatal Attraction, and Heat, which strangely enough was a remake of the TV movie LA Takedown, and both versions were made by the same director, Michael Mann, which is the same thing that happened when Alfred Hitchcock decided to remake his 1934 version of The Man Who Knew Too Much in 1956. But the crazy thing I learned is that one of my all-time favorite movies, Brewster's Millions, with Richard Pryor and John Candy, was not only a remake, but has been remade 10 times before, with the first version being made 100 years ago in 1914. However, before that, the first recorded film adaptation of Romeo and Juliet was made in 1908, which was based on the play by William Shakespeare, whose own work was based on classic Greek tragedies. And if you really want to break it down, Greek tragedy and drama in general can be tied back to cave paintings and the stories passed on to future generations by cavemen. But that's way off topic and probably too thin of a connection, so let's try and bring it back to Shakespeare for a second, and hopefully somehow back to RoboCop. So like I said, Shakespeare's work has been adapted and remade for over 100 years on film. Wikipedia counts it as 410 different adaptations. Adaptations like 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew starring Allison Janney, who was in the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street with William Wyndham, who was in She's Having a Baby with Kevin Bacon, whose own films Footloose and Friday the 13th were remade a couple of years ago, and Kevin Bacon was in Hollow Man, whose writer remade Knight Rider for NBC in 2008, and whose story was inspired by The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, and Hollow Man was directed by Paul Verhoeven, who directed the original version of RoboCop. So there you have it. Remakes have been happening since the dawn of man. It's probably never going to stop, so we might as well just get used to it. And if you guys got lost, and I'm sure you did, because I kind of did too, get ready to pause the video, because I'm going to pop up a chart that I made, so this whole video will make sense. Totally makes sense, right? I don't look crazy. I'm not crazy, right? No, it makes sense. But if you're still confused, you guys might want to try out Lumosity. Lumosity is like a personal trainer for your brain that lets you build your own customized training program to enhance your memory and attention using games based on neuroscience. Plus, get detailed training summaries and stats to keep track of your progress and see where you need to improve. Over 40 million users have already experienced Lumosity's breakthrough brain training. So what are you guys waiting for? Start training today with Lumosity and discover what your brain can do. Check out lumosity.com/rev3games to get instant access and help support a little show we do here. What remakes surprised you or made you guys hate the original? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you liked what you saw, share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm Scott Bromley saying don't delete your internet history. Or do. Get my shirt? It's cause Guy Fieri ate here out of a dumpster. Cause that man eats trash.
Oh my God!
Look at my breasts. Oh, they're so milky. Milky. Milky white breasts. Milky white breasts. Why the I don't know where that came from.